Glory to mankind. It is true that humans explore what it means to be human a lot of the time, but it doesn't always hit. That's why when one actually hits the mark, I feel like it's important to point it out. It sticks in my mind. Yoko Taro was able to do this with his latest installment of the Drakengard Nier series. And let's talk about it. My name is Detective Hemmings, codenamed Paperwork. Welcome to Case 24, the greatness of Nier Automata. It's not uncommon for people to question their place in the world and to wonder if anything they do has some kind of meaning. You live, you die, and then you are probably forgotten. The universe is so large and vast that nothing you do here on one planet out of probably trillions even matters. Do you have free will, or are all your actions predetermined? What does it truly mean to be a human being? To be or not to be? That is the question. Welcome to the latest installment of the Drakengard / Nier series and the sequel to cult classic Nier Gestalt / Replicant, Nier Automata. Square Enix, Platinum Games, Kamiya Hideki, and Yoko Taro have truly created something special here that I believe people need to experience. Some history on the overall series before we do a little deconstructing and analyzing of Nier Automata. Yoko Taro has worked on Drakengard 1, 3, I believe he didn't work on 2, and the first Nier. And while they have a dedicated fan base because of his characters and themes, as far as I can tell, they did not sell well. And to be completely honest, they aren't good video games. Yoko Taro is a strange man with one of the most intriguing minds on earth as far as I'm concerned. His games are generally viewed as dark and twisted, but they usually have a point or message if you take a second to dive deeper than the surface. There is a big picture takeaway or an overall lesson. I mean, the first Drakengard had some dark stuff in it that made a lot of people wonder if that man was okay, but enough of all that. Nier Automata is probably his most tame game in terms of shock value, but the only one where the gameplay is as phenomenal as the characters and plot. Now, unfortunately, my gameplay footage is corrupted, so most of the footage I will be using will be from the promotional material, trailers, and whatnot. I apologize and promise to do better moving forward, but at least this way, I can't visually spoil much. Please like the video, subscribe, and let's save mankind or whatever. Do we even deserve to be saved? Starting off with the gameplay, Nier Automata delivers, which isn't surprising since it's a Platinum game and Hideki Kamiya was working on it too. If you played anything Platinum that involves Hideki Kamiya, you know how fun his games tend to be to play. I'm talking Beautiful Joe, Wonderful 101, some Devil May Cry games, and of course, Bayonetta. When this game first came out and people were wondering if it was worth buying, someone on Twitter once said this: "Do you like Bayonetta and being really sad? If so, buy Nier Automata." It's actually funny because that tweet isn't too far off. At the very least, it's not a crazy thing to say as far as I'm concerned. The combat is deep, you can combine different weapons and time your combos to do big damage. The playable characters have a perfect dodge that works similarly to Bayo's Witch Time, and the dodge roll is smooth, perfectly controllable. 9S has a hacking ability that works as a bullet hell style Galaga shooter. The pod programs that accompany you are capable of long-ranged projectiles such as bullets, missiles, and lasers. It's almost like two of the game developers couldn't decide whether or not to make a hack and slash or a bullet hell game, so they compromised and combined them both into one. When you are slashing machines, you are also shooting them. Not to mention the pods have skills such as maybe erecting a barrier that negates physical damage or lessens it. The equipping and skill managing portion of this game is absolutely fantastic because it ties in with the actual narrative. Because the characters are androids with system and data storage. That being said, your normal HUD displays like the map, health, and experience bars are actually chips you install in the limited space in your Android body. You can also equip chips that auto heal, increase attack, increase range defense, and more. But it all works like a computer, like you're upgrading, removing and remodeling your android self to suit the situation at hand. When you die, your character's data is uploaded to the bunker, installed into a new body, and you can go back to where you passed away to find your old android body. From there, you can retrieve your chips and weaponry. Even the fast travel, called transport, puts your character in a device, then uploads all the character's data and consciousness into another body in the same device at the desired location. The game has no autosave. You have to save your data manually to the bunker, and that also ties in with the game's narrative because it's basically your memories and experiences being backed up. If you die, the most recent version of your saved data is what's uploaded into your new body. The reason I'm going into great detail to explain this is because I don't think Nier Automata works as any other medium. They've done a great job in making the minor gameplay things in any game, such as the menu interface, make actual in-game universe sense. This is where I learned the term diegetic interface, or diegetic UI, as it is sometimes called. There's a lot going on in the overall narrative of Automata because it loosely ties into the first Drakengard and is a sequel to Nier. But simply put, aliens attacked humanity with machine life forms, and humanity fought back by making androids that are fighting the machines. The humans are currently on the moon waiting for Yorha, the androids, to reclaim the Earth. As you play the game, you see machines exhibit human behavior and find some that assign themselves genders and even family roles. Some are even in love. So there are non-hostile machines and some who are hostile, some who are somewhere in the middle. There are so many layers to the story, and diving into the nitty-gritty would take too long because you need a lot of knowledge of the overall intellectual property to get it. I'm talking stage plays, light novels, and many more other things that are not related to the video game. But for this video, I solely want to focus on the video game Nier Automata. Is this game actually deep, or are the people who are singing its praises pseudo-intellectuals?
Come on, man.
Let's find out. Contextually, the game asked a couple of questions surrounding existentialism and what it means to be human, and the futility of fighting for no cause whatsoever. No one in the game is human, yet they all seem to exhibit human behavior. The androids have emotion, resemble humans, and do a lot of things that we do. This is off-putting to the player because of them being essentially robots. We'd expect more cold-hearted calculations like a machine. This is made even stranger when the alien-created machines start doing the same. Except they look nothing like a human being. They don't even have genders. They weren't even made on Earth. This starts making the player question a few things. For one, are the machines so bad? If androids can feel human, why can't the machines? After mercilessly slaughtering bots for hours, you start to think about sparing or even leaving the non-hostile ones alone. All of this is interesting because the player will begin to wonder what it means to be human. Do you have to be born by conventional means? Do you need flesh, bone, and an actual beating heart? Even someone with a relatively shallow understanding of the brain knows it actually operates pretty similar to computer and data. Sure, we can't just upload and remove certain things like it's literally data, but to a certain degree, you can. You lose data, and it's gone, and in the context of the game, it's like forgetting, and people can forget. We love, hate, think, fight. And so do the androids and machines. The game raises these questions and doesn't really answer them, but is there even a right answer? It makes sense to leave this ambiguous and up to the player to decide. Machines and androids are the new main life form on this planet called Earth, acting like humans. That's crazy. Moving forward, we find out pretty early on that the aliens that created the machines to purge humanity are dead. 9S finds out that humanity has actually been completely extinct for years and thus wonders what the point of them even existing is. They were made to fight for humanity, but since they're all dead, what now? The crazy thing about it is that Yorha expects every version of 9S to come to the truth and then sends 2B to kill him. Rinse and repeat. But this time the cycle was broken, so 9S is burdened with this knowledge and begins to spiral into madness. He feels rage towards the machines, but knows there's no point in fighting them. He's mad at A2 for killing 2B, either because he loves 2B or hates 2B, because her role is to kill him over and over. Maybe even both are plausible. This somewhat reminds me of Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty, a scientist so smart he can travel through the cosmos and multiverse. He's seen and knows so much that at some point he understood how meaningless everything was and how being smart is actually a burden. I'd argue that 9S has a lot of commonality and overlap with this dilemma. 9S has the most tedious portion of the game during Route B, which is just Route A, just not from 2B's perspective, and while I personally don't like him, I think he's actually the most important character in the game. 2B actually seems to be the least important in this game, out of the 3 playable characters at least, and the one I personally spent the least amount of time playing as. And I wanted to look at that sweet robo-buck, yet most of my time was spent with 9S, who I can't fucking stand. But still, thematically his role and descent into maybe nihilistic madness makes a ton of sense. He was appropriately paced, and the best character development the game has to offer is 9S. He was marketed as a sidekick, but the argument that he's actually the main protagonist can be made because his actions sets events in motion. A2, who's my personal favorite, also best girl, remnants of Kaine, is a bit of an enigma and the last playable character that you play as in the Route C. We don't actually learn too much about her in the game. I know Yoko Taro has other things that expands the game's lore. Her gameplay was the most fun and her design is dope, and her hard-ass personality resonates with me. She reminds me of Kaine from Nier, and there's actually a reason for that, but it's not in the game, so I won't speak about it here. 2B is actually a 2E model designed to destroy rogue Yorha units, and she kills 9S every time he learns the truth. Honestly, she was easily the blandest character in the game out of the playable characters. I have no idea what her motivations were, but in a sense, the fact that she obediently obeys command says a lot. Still, she doesn't develop much and then she fucking dies. So honestly, I know a lot of Automata fans love 2B and you might have a lot of pushback here and I'm okay. But if we're being honest, I don't think she's very interesting as a character. That aside, looking at her, playing as 2B is extremely fun. I've beaten Nier Automata 2 times from start to finish back in about 2018. Took me about 80 hours of my first gameplay. I've gotten mostly every ending. I got the DLC, completed just about every side quest, and fought mostly all the bosses. I didn't get all the trophies, but that's never been something that I cared about. This game is something special. The content is plentiful. The side quests, while some can be tedious, they add something to the overall story or help develop a character. The soundtrack is marvelous, the characters are great, the graphics are stunning, and the gameplay is absolutely fantastic. The game's context is also very impressive. Platinum Games, Square Enix, Yoko Taro, Hideki Kamiya, and all involved parties have very much created what I would call a modern classic with this video game. And if you get a chance to try Nier Automata, do not hesitate. Glory to mankind. And with all that, we got another case solved and in the books. Thanks for watching. Be safe and take care. Don't forget to like and subscribe, y'all.